If you haven't watched my other videos, I would recommend you watching them first in order. This is part 4 of the series. I'm going to continue into my quest in proving that Aaliyah is actually me, the Christ who died and rose again on the 3rd day. And the evidence lies within her songs, films and things that she's done during her life.
You say it got loud on your mind, sit down, let's talk about. I hate to see you feel this way, so tell me what can I do to make it better for you.
In 1997, 2 former Walt Disney Animation Studios directors were in the midst of finishing their upcoming animated film adaptation, Anastasia.
They're teaming up to find a clue to her past.
The word Anastasia means resurrection. I believe this is what's happened to me. I was Aaliyah, I died, and I was resurrected in a new body through something called reincarnation. I believe that so many films, particularly Disney films, are inspired by the goddess. This is the 3 me's, Eve, Aaliyah, Anna. So I don't believe that just Aaliyah's songs are inspired by her. I believe that every film, every song is inspired by us 3. For example, there's a video I found on YouTube where someone believes that there are hidden messages within films. They put a compilation of films together, and I'm just going to use this compilation to prove my point. For example, a lot of films are about a sort of coming Antichrist figure or a coming Christ figure.
There's a storm coming, Mr. Wayne.
Summer in the city of Arendelle. It couldn't be sunnier, but that's about to change forever.
Now we just have to survive this blizzard!
That's no blizzard! That's my sister!
So in that film, Anna represents me, Elsa represents Aaliyah. Well, Elsa's really God in spirit, Aaliyah in spirit, as Aaliyah didn't have power. And a storm's going to come when a lot of people start believing that we are Christ, not Jesus.
I came here to tell you that something is coming.
Who has been telling you this? God.
So I believe that me and Aaliyah are Christ on earth, but us in spirit is God. And we are the ones who are inspiring these films.
A great flood is coming. We build a vessel to survive the storm. We build an ark.
Along with other people, of course.
If we don't act fast, this storm will destroy us all. Bottom line, either we capture the Never Beast, or life as we know it is over.
The beast is like the Christian God, but at the end of the day, it's a monster, a vicious monster that wants to kill and murder everyone because that's what people wanted. But the truth behind the Bible is that it's actually inspired by a woman.
The book into doubt. Now I don't have to listen.
Babylon the Great, and that you shouldn't take any of the stories literally, because that's like worshipping the beast. The Bible is a beast that's been inspired by a woman who will kill this beast.
Follow me.
The story goes on, and an angel still rides in the whirlwind and directs this storm.
James and the Giant Peach has been influenced by one of our lives.
Listen to me. Once upon a time, long ago, there was a little girl. What? A little girl who was different. Who was different from the other people in our village.
So I believe this is the story of what happened to Eve, the first human on Earth, born from semi-evolved monkeys. And she herself would have been a semi-evolved monkey, only she would have been a lot different, like what this film says.
I'm not listening. She could see and do things that no one could understand. And that made them scared of her. I don't like this story.
I believe that she's me, and that I'm coming to give information that people might not understand or believe. Information that things I'm doing right now is inspiring the past, but it's the truth.
She turned away from everyone and became sad and lonely and had no one to turn to. Do it,
But it's not just films, it's also songs are inspired by her.
I need to be the one who takes you home.
I believe the majority of films are inspired by her, but Anastasia is just one more film that's inspired by our 3 lives. It's about a lost princess who's trying to find her family.
Although the Tsar did not survive, one daughter may be still alive. The Princess
It's the story of an orphan named Anya.
You want to find your family, huh?
Who exactly are you?
I was hoping you could tell me. I just want to know who I am. Whether or not I belong to a family.
Your family.
I have a shitty family in this life. I stopped calling them mum and dad at the age of 6 for a reason. But I believe Aaliyah is my real family, because Aaliyah was my past life. And so this story is about a woman who's trying to find her lost family. And this is what I'm doing. I'm trying to find my lost family, who is Aaliyah's family. Their family's far more organized than mine.
Based on the 1956 original live action, Anastasia made its way to Aaliyah's doorsteps in hopes that she would provide vocals for the soundtrack version of the film's crowning song, Journey to the Past.
I believe that Aaliyah was given this song to sing for a reason.
Home, love, family. I will never be complete until I find you.
She says she'll never be complete until she finds you, and she says this while standing on a cross. I was born in the Royal Free Hospital, which is a building in the shape of a cross. I believe that the person that she's trying to find is me, and likewise I'm trying to find her and her family, because I can't be complete unless I know who I truly am, and Aaliyah is who I was, only that life was taken from me. This is what the song is called, Journey to the Past. It's like it's a hidden message, to emphasize how I need to journey to my past, which is her life.
Heart, don't fail me now. Courage, don't desert me. Don't turn back now that we're here.
Her past is my past, so I need to journey to her life, see the things that she did, see the clues.
Courage, see me through. Heart, I'm trusting you on this journey to the past.
This song was so popular that she did a music video to it. And in this music video, there's one clip where the camera pans into Anastasia looking through her binoculars. And through the binoculars, you start seeing Aaliyah. I think this again is another hidden clue, making a prophecy that this Anastasia character, which is me, is actually Aaliyah. Because the eyes are supposed to be the window to a person's soul. I know the producers wouldn't have done it for this reason, but I believe their inspiration has come from God. This is how they've connected to this information, but they wouldn't have known it at the time.
Somewhere down this road, I know someone's waiting. Years of dreams just can't be wrong.
I've believed that I'm Aaliyah for 5 years now, since 2013. I believed it because I met a guy called Martin Dodd. I believed that he knew about me, but he's made a covenant with people to ignore me for up to 7 years. I never thought it'd be this long, but there's prophecies in this song that it will be years, that I will have to wait years before we can be together.
Arms will open wide, I'll be safe and wanted, finally home where I belong.
And it could even be referring to Aaliyah's family. I'd have to wait years before I get to see them.
Well, starting here, my life begins. Starting now, I'm learning fast. Courage, see me through. Heart, I'm trusting you on this journey to the past.
The song indicates that it's a long journey, and I don't know what's going to happen during this journey.
Or how a road can seem so long. How the world can seem so vast.
But throughout the whole video, there's a constant message about courage, saying, heart, don't fail me. Remember that you're me. I often feel like this is insane, but I know it's the truth. And when I listen to this song, I get reminded that yes, this is the truth. I have to have courage and stick to what I believe in.
Heart, don't fail me now. No. Courage, don't desert me. Home, love, family. There was once a time I must have had them too.
They're teaming up to find a clue to her past.
One step at a time, one hope, then another. Who knows where this road may go? Back to who I was, on to find my future things. My heart still needs to know.
And it's not just the words that make me convinced enough to believe that she's me. It's also the video. You know, in that clip, she's standing right next to this Anastasia girl. Okay, I've got blonde hair, but my natural colour is actually a sort of light brown colour. You know, if I had to be an actor in any of the Disney films, I would probably choose Little Mermaid, because out of all the songs, I sing the Little Mermaid songs the best. I wanna be where the people are. I wanna see them dancing. But I think out of all the Disney stories, I think Anastasia is the one that's like a closest match to me, because it's about a girl trying to find her real family. And I feel that Aaliyah's family was a real family. My family's not. We're all over the place. I was very close to my sister, and then she found a boyfriend, and because I was off in boarding school, she's pretty much ditched me for him. And other than her, my whole family's so divided. And so the thought that I have another family that actually care about me, you know, this is one of the best things that could happen to me. But knowing about them and yet not being able to talk to them because you fear that they wouldn't believe you, they wouldn't believe that you're part of their family. You know, this is just a horrible feeling.
Who exactly are you?
I was hoping you could tell me. I just want to know who I am. Whether or not I belong to a family. Your family.
And yes, it's just brought tears to my eyes. I'm glad there's a pause button. I can't just go up to them now and say, hey, I'm Aaliyah reincarnated. Why? Because there's a very high chance that if I went all the way from UK to America to tell this to their faces, there's a very high chance that they'll just call the police and I'll be sectioned, which is what happened when I first started believing that I was Eve. I know I'm right, but I don't want to put myself through this again, nor do I want to put them through this, because when the truth is finally exposed, they're going to have to live the rest of their life knowing that they rejected their daughter, despite her having tons of evidence that prove that me and Aaliyah are the same person. But because Aaliyah literally did die in an airplane, and because I was born 12 years before Aaliyah died, me convincing them that I am actually their daughter, who's lost my memory and is now white, you know, this isn't going to happen. They're only going to be convinced if powerful people or rich people or a bunch of successful people are willing to back me up. Or perhaps they've already been told. I believe a cult group do know. Maybe they have been told and they've been put under oath, signed an agreement, agreeing not to try and contact me until a specific date. What I do know is that I do relate to the Anastasia character. And the Anastasia character is one of the few characters that also point to Aaliyah. And this whole film brings this up. I guess I would love to star as Anastasia in this film. I'm not as good a singer as Leia, but I could probably do an okay job on some of the songs. Home, love, family, there was once a time I must have had them too. Home, love, family, I will never be complete until I find you. Or maybe we'll just stick to her voice. If they want me to do any other songs, I'll be up for that. Last thing that needs to be mentioned is right at the end of the song, there's a clip of Anastasia with a guy on a boat. The last video Aaliyah did was on a boat. I believe this is supposed to represent me and Martin getting together, and it's on a boat because it's hinting that we'll start where Aaliyah left off from. And then it zooms up to Aaliyah watching from the top of a building, and then you see clips of Aaliyah being in heaven. So this to me shows how Aaliyah is like God in spirit, how she lives in heaven in the spiritual realm with all her children, which are just people on earth, and these people are waiting to be reincarnated like I was. But yeah, this video is just very telling, and I believe it has a lot of hidden meanings.
Journey to the Past marked the beginning of Aaliyah's reign of soundtracks.
After seeing the movie, I was very excited. I mean, it's a great opportunity for me as an artist, and even when it was first brought to my attention before I even saw the movie, I was familiar with the story and the song. I heard the song, and it's really wonderful. I'm very excited about it and excited about the future and the promoting it, the video and everything. It's a great venture for me. To the past.
Anastasia was a box office hit, grossing nearly triple its budget worldwide. Along with the box office success, Anastasia and the soundtrack also received critical acclaim, the kind of acclaim that would soon take the film and Aaliyah to the Academy Awards. This would mark the first time Aaliyah had ever performed on a major televised award show, and would solidify Aaliyah as the youngest female to ever perform at the Academy Awards. In early June of 1998, Barry Hankerson approached Aaliyah, Timbaland, and songwriter Static Major, informing them that the three would need to create a song entirely by the end of the night.
What we didn't know, we just thought it was cool for a single. We know we got to put out something because all lights was on us. No matter what we did, if we was coming out, we had the single. Like
That night, the trio created one of Aaliyah's biggest and most iconic hits, Are You That Somebody?
We go. Can y'all really feel me? Baby girl. East Coast, feel me. West Coast, feel me. Can you feel us? Dirty South.
I believe this song contains a hidden message telling people that they must ignore me for a certain period of time. I believe Aaliyah is God in spirit, and this line backs up that theory.
Boy, I've been watching you like the hawk in the sky. That fly, you are my prey.
Martin is the guy that I want to hook up with. I told Martin that I was Aaliyah and that her songs are a message for him.
Boy, I promise you, if we keep bumping heads, I know that one of these days we gon' hook it up, probably talk on the phone, but see, I don't know if that's good.
I believe that an occult group knew about a woman. They must find this woman will fall in love with someone, and they must keep these two separated for a long period of time. But I believe that God in spirit knew that from the time people knew that I was actually Aaliyah in my past life, people would be less tempted to keep to that arrangement. Because people won't want to sacrifice someone they know and love. Because I'm sure, if they were smart, they would realise how much suffering it was causing me, to have this knowledge that I was her, that I had this amazing life and then I lost it, and it was replaced with a life of misery, basically. It's like having a winning lottery ticket, and then having that ticket stolen from you. To have such knowledge, and yet to have no one come and support me, or tell me that they believe, it's a horrible, horrible thing. But this song, I believe God has inspired the writers to make this song, so that through this song, Aaliyah can actually back up the theory that you have to stay away from me, and that this secret that me and Aaliyah are the same person, this needs to be kept a secret.
I've been holding back this secret from you. I probably shouldn't tell it. If I let you know, you can tell nobody. I'm told by nobody. Are you responsible? Boy, I gotta watch my back, 'cause I'm not just saying bye.
Having her say this would encourage people to say, yes, okay, we will put you through a sacrifice, because you're saying sacrifice me in your own song. Notice how this song was even done in a cave, sort of symbolising secrecy, like a hidden secret coven. She has a hawk on her arm. Hawks can sometimes be used as like messengers to deliver a letter. I believe there is an underground coven, and this song was inspired by God in spirit for that coven, for the time that I reveal that I'm Aaliyah, to convince them to continue ignoring me. Her family might even be convinced to ignore me if they listen to this song and believe that it was a message from God in spirit. I hate this song because I believe it told this occult group to continue ignoring me. This is not what I would have told them. I hate the fact that they rather listen to whatever it is that they're listening to over me, who's saying come and talk to me. But anyway, the message in this song is so weird. It doesn't seem to make sense in any other angle.
Is it my goal? Is it your goal? Sometimes I'm pretty good. Right now I'm not enough.
Other than to get Aaliyah herself to actually sing the words, I've got a secret and you can't tell the world.
If you tell the world, oh boy, see I'm trusting you with my heart, my soul. I probably shouldn't let you go. If I let this go, you can tell nobody. I'm talking about nobody.
Me saying that I'm her, and then this occult listening to her sing these words, this would have just encouraged them to ignore me. Hence why out of all her songs, this is the one I hate the most.
Say yes or say no, 'cause I really need somebody. Tell me if that's somebody.
I lived in a studio flat in a small block for 2.5 years. I was so convinced that this song was saying that he was going to come back to me during this time.
Boy, won't you pick me up at the park right now, up the block while everyone sleeps. I'll be waiting there with my trips, my lows, my hat, just so I'm low key.
But he didn't. I'm in a terraced house right now. So if he does come to me now, well, I'm not in a block. But yeah, this song just gave me false hope that he was going to return, and he didn't.
Boy, won't you pick me up?
Like Aaliyah says,
sometimes I'm very good, right now I'm not enough.
Even the male part has some significance.
Baby girl, better known as Aaliyah. Give me goosebumps and hot feet. Make it play haters believe. Don't you know? Gotta tell somebody. 'Cause
I really need somebody. Tell me if there's somebody.
The song was written for the film Dr. Dolittle. Dr. Dolittle is a film about a guy who can talk to animals. I would like to believe that there's some significance behind that. saying that the people I'm talking to, the occult group that are ignoring me, they're like animals for ignoring me. But unfortunately, Martin is the somebody that I need.
The track became the song to acquire the biggest jump to number 1 for 1998 in New Zealand. It also peaked at number 3 for 22 weeks in the Netherlands, within the top 20 in the UK, and within the top 10 in Canada. Stateside, during Are You That Somebody's run of the charts, Are You That Somebody peaked at number 21 on the Billboard Hot 100, number 6 on the pop chart, number 4 on the radio chart. It hit number 1 on both the rhythmic and hot R&B and hip-hop airplay charts.
I don't think I heard this song, or if I did hear it on the radio, I didn't know it was sung by Aaliyah, and I had completely forgotten about it. Like, this song wasn't on my list. And I was only 10 years old at the time it was released. I think I got into pop singing it around the age of 11 when Spice Girls came out, but I didn't get MTV until I was around 12. TV wasn't the same back then, and my parents were quite against me watching lots of TV, so a lot of her songs would have been a bit before my time.
The video for Are You That Somebody was directed by Mark Gerard, and marked the second collaboration between Aaliyah and Fatima Robinson, who choreographed the video. The video for Are You That Somebody went on to become the third most viewed video of 1998 on MTV's TRL. As Aaliyah's name was already a significant force in the music industry, Aaliyah was ready to take her career to the next level and began working with the acting coach to transfer her talents to the big screen. Plenty of studios considered Aaliyah for many roles during this period, including the role of Alex in Charlie's Angels. However, casting executives deemed Aaliyah too young for the role.
I really loved Charlie's Angels, so it's a shame that she didn't do that one. But I think the Chinese-looking girl, I don't know what kind of orientation she is. It might be Malaysian or half and half. I think she has a more unique look, so I do think they made a good decision in choosing someone else, because you don't really see her look in the typical American film. And yeah, I think older is better. Although I do think Charlie's Angels has a lot of relevance to me because I believe that I'm Eve, Aaliyah, Anna, and it's about 3 angels. When I was born, there was also this boy that looked identical to me, and he was born a few hours after me in the same hospital. And his name was Charlie, which connects to Charlie's Angels because we were quite close.
Aaliyah was also offered to play as Brenda in an early version of the draft of Scary Movie, as Brenda's character was originally supposed to be a spoof of Brandy Norwood. Aaliyah quickly declined the role out of respect.
Well, one time I got sent the script actually for Scary Movie, but it was a little bit different when I received it. It changed a lot by the time they made it, and it was a parody on Scream movies. And I Know What You Did Last Summer, and they actually had a character. It was the Brandy character, and they wanted me to play Brandy and kind of do a parody of her. And I just, I actually liked the script. I thought it was really funny, but I didn't want anybody to take like I was disrespecting her in any way, so I actually didn't do it. And it turned out to be a really funny movie, but that was like the weirdest thing that anyone had ever asked me to do.
I'm a big fan on spoofs, and yeah, I love Scary Movie 1. Although I had no idea that the Brandy character was actually supposed to be mocking the singer. I never once connected the two. I always saw Brandy as just a kind of funny, crazy kind of character, which is typically seen within horror films. The tough girl that thinks she can handle everything and denies the fact that anything's going on, when creepy stuff is so blatantly going on. But that character is so not good for Aaliyah, because I would say that Aaliyah is more the hypersensitive type, as in someone who notices things that are going on. I think the actor they chose is really good, so I'm glad Aaliyah didn't do it. But I am also glad that Aaliyah was asked to do it. Why? Because she was willing to turn down this big role, because she didn't want to upset another singer. And I think that shows what kind of person Aaliyah is, because she's kind of done the right thing, because she's chosen to stand up for a friend rather than earn lots of money and do something that might insult someone. And I think it's a very admirable thing to do, so hopefully people will copy us and not try and insult us. I also love Scary Movie 2, that's my favourite. I actually prefer Scary Movie 2 to Scary Movie 1, and because Aaliyah was destined to die fairly soon, if she would have taken that role, we might have not even got Scary Movie 2, which would have been a big shame. So I like that one because they go into this haunted house, basically a piss take of The Haunting, and I thought that was really funny. Anyway, Aaliyah did want to go into filming, but I think singing was where her passion was, because that's how you actually connect to the real live audience. So it was better that she did that.
Our next guest is an amazing singer.
With a sexy new queen of R&B.
Here's your performance from our friend. Please welcome Aaliyah. Aaliyah.
After months of searching for the right role, Aaliyah found her vehicle to push her towards superstardom, the hip-hop Romeo and Juliet film, Romeo Must Die.
Caught in the middle. Trisha, I can't have you hanging with Choose Boy.
What the hell were you doing in there?
Opposite Jet Li, Aaliyah starred as Trish, a young woman thrown into the rivalry between two crime gangs. The film debuted at number 2 at the box office and went on to gross nearly $100 million worldwide.
Although this film wasn't a major success, I thought it was a good role for her. I'm sure there's 1,000 other films I'd prefer to watch, but when going into acting, it is better to start off with something smaller and go into it. I also love how it's about two different types of people that want to be together. You know, you don't usually see Chinese, Asian-looking people getting with coloured people, so it was nice to see that. And hinting that interracial marriages could work, although, okay, it's a film, so it didn't. There was lots of problems and stuff, because neither one of the families could accept the interracial relationship. But I think there's a little bit of significance in this film, because I believe that Martin Dodd is Michael Jackson. And I'm sure there's a lot of fans of Michael Jackson that were really upset that he died at only 50. And while this title suggests that Romeo must die, in my scenario, it's so that he can go back time and be reincarnated again.
You will rise again.
If, however, Martin doesn't believe that he could be Michael Jackson in his past life, maybe it's just a symbol of how I feel right now. Like, I wish he would die so that I wouldn't have to go through the suffering of missing him and knowing he's rejected me. Although I wasn't too impressed with the film, I was very impressed by the song that came with it, this Try Again, that actually features the actor from Romeo Must Die.
Dust yourself off and try again. You can dust it off and try again, try again.
This Try Again song is a song that points second most to me, because it's dust yourself off as in get cremated and try again. I believe she's God, and there's lines in this about saying if she won't let you in, what are you gonna do?
What would you do to get to me? What would you say to have your way? Would you give up or try again if I hesitate to let you in?
If God won't let you in, what are you gonna do? Try again? You're gonna be reincarnated?
Now would you be yourself or play a role? Tell all the boys I'll keep it low. If I say no, would you turn away?
If you don't make it into the spiritual realm or into the heavenly place that I do believe does exist, but the majority of souls that go there can't stay there for a long period of time. They have to come back and continue being recycled.
If I say no, would you turn away or play me off, or would you stay up? Don't succeed.
The second chorus also talks about, will it be a week? Will it be eternity? I believe this is referring to heaven. When you get into the spiritual realm, will you be there for a week or will you be there for eternity?
I'm into you, you into me, but I can't let it go so easily. Not till I see what this could be eternity or just a week. We know our chemistry is off the chain. It's perfect now, but will it change? This ain't a yes, this ain't a no. Just do your thing, we'll see how it goes.
Those who get rejected will just come back to Earth and get reincarnated. Those that have done a good job don't have to be reincarnated until the world is a much better place, which will be in a few hundred years. Throughout the film, she practices moves that she did in Romeo Must Die with the main actor from Romeo Must Die. And it's really strange how, in this song that I believe is all about reincarnation, she's working with a guy who she filmed with for a film called Romeo Must Die, you know, more hinting that the song is about dying and coming back again, because Romeo must die. Also, the first bit of the song pays homage to a song that was done in 1987.
The song is titled I Know You Got Soul, and they are Eric B. and Rakim.
It's been a long time, I shouldn't have left you without a strong rhyme to step to.
It's been a long time, we shouldn't have left you without a dope beat to step to.
1987 was the year I was born, so the song that I believe is about reincarnation happens to pay homage to a song that was written in the same year that I was born, sung by a girl who I believe was my past life. And in the song, she uses an actor she acted with on the film Romeo Must Die, and it pays homage to a song that was done in 1987, the year I was born. I think there's too many coincidences for this to just be a coincidence.
Aaliyah spoke to Rosie O'Donnell about choosing the right film.
Acting is something I've done since I was little, but I wanted to establish myself in music first, so I wanted to prepare myself again and wait for the right vehicle, the right part, and Romeo was it.
Yeah.
Though Romeo Must Die can be viewed as a transition film for Aaliyah, the film required her to dig deep into her emotions for certain scenes. With the release of Romeo Must Die, Aaliyah's name began to spread around Hollywood like wildfire. Critics noted that Aaliyah was a standout in the film and clearly had a natural ability to act. Some critics even went as far as pointing out that the current talk around Hollywood regarding her acting ability was similar to that of Brad Pitt's and Angelina Jolie's before their surge into superstardom.
What the hell was the takeoff food?
You hungry, baby?
I'm feeling like the princess is just great.
Glad to be here. Best female video, ladies and gentlemen. Madonna, Whitney Houston, Janet Jackson. They took this award years ago. Home. Who's gonna take it tonight? We don't know. These are the nominees. Let's take a look.
Aaliyah, Try Again. Britney Spears, Oops, I Did It Again. Christina Aguilera, What a Girl Wants.
The award goes to Try Again.
You don't wanna throw it all away.
Out of everything that I've seen so far, that's actually the most impressive thing that I've seen so far, because Britney and Aguilera are one of my favourite acts. Correction, they were one of my favourite acts. I believe Christina Aguilera's Eve's representation, Britney Spears is my representation. Only as soon as I revealed this news, these two artists started doing a ton more songs, only this time they were changing my image and making me seem like I'm something different to what I'm not, something far worse than what I am. So seeing this clip has just cheered up my whole day. Although it is very surprising that she won because these two artists were very big back then and I'd barely heard of Aaliyah. But yeah, I do think all songs relate to what I'm talking about. Oops, I Did It Again, I Fall in Love with Martin, and I'm Lost in the Game. And Christina Aguilera's song was all about You Know How to Make Me Happy. And yeah, to know that my past life beat those two, that's probably one of the best things that I could have heard.
Makes me happy, sets you free, and I'm thanking you for knowing exactly.
Wow. This is a shot. This is a big shot.
The Romeo Must Die soundtrack proved to be an enormous hit, spawning Aaliyah's first #1 single, Try Again.
I understand that the song Try Again actually had an alternative message, which is supposed to be that if a guy tries to go out with you and you say no, will they try again?
The song Try Again is basically about a relationship, about a guy approaching me, and I'm saying basically, if I don't say yes up front, will you leave me alone or will you try again? If at first you don't succeed, just give it one more chance. So
It's about perseverance.
it's about perseverance and,
Is it worth it?
strength. Yeah, and if I'm worth it, just try it.
You know, that's what it was supposed to be about. But that's how I believe God works. The writers write one message believing it means one thing, but God actually has a completely different intention, and those same words mean something different, in a completely different sense. Likewise, this is what I believe is done throughout the whole Bible. Jerusalem, Babylon, Israel, these are all talked about or spoken about as being nations, but there are also other parts where this nation is described as being a woman, a bride. This, I believe, is a subtle hint that actually this Israel, Jerusalem, Babylon, Zion is actually a woman, not a nation. But by disguising it up as a nation, people can talk about her and make accurate prophecies about this woman and yet have no idea what they're actually talking about. And it's this same coding that God has used to try and hide hidden messages within songs. I think this makes my story more credible, you know, if men mean it in one sense, but if I can explain how it could actually make sense in a different sense, in a completely different understanding, then it does seem more like it's coming from a message from heaven rather than one that's coming from man.
Try Again was the first song to ever reach #1 solely based on airplay and was also nominated for a Grammy. Aaliyah continued to build a blossoming relationship with Warner Brother Entertainment, quickly being cast in the Anne Rice novel adaptation, Queen of the Damned.
The same thing was done with Aaliyah's next film, Queen of the Damned. I'm a big fan of this film. I love how it is. It was written though by a woman called Anne, which is similar to Anna, but she says she absolutely hates the film how it came out, because it's nothing like the original story. Everything's been changed.
Well, I didn't care for the movie of The Queen of the Damned at all. I begged the studio not to make that movie. I told them that the readers really didn't want that movie. What they wanted was a movie based on The Vampire Lestat, the second book in the series. And the studio went on and made the movie, and the movie was not really based on my work. They used the names of the characters, but they replaced original material with material that they had written for them by a scriptwriter. And the movie was a great disappointment to most of my readers. I still get letters to this day asking me why I let it happen, and of course I couldn't control it. There was nothing I could do. They had the right as a studio to make that movie, and there was nothing I could do to prevent it.
What she said there sounds exactly like what's going to happen with the Bible. The original writers intended it to mean one thing, hoping to please the audience, when in reality, God in spirit actually intended it to mean something completely different. And yeah, the readers of the Bible are going to be very disappointed when the truth is exposed.
My turn.
It's not my choice to toast, but it's your call. To your triumph over Annette. What's so funny?
Silly rabbit. My triumph isn't over her. It's over you.
I love the film, and the main reason why I love the film is it's because it's about the mother and not just the father like a lot of other films. I believe it's the things that have been changed that have actually made it far more similar to what I believe is the truth. I believe that Aaliyah is Eve, the mother of all humans.
What have you done, Lestat? No. I don't think so, my lord. Let me go. No. You've drunk the purest blood, seen the oldest of things. Far too much for one as young as you. Her blood is like liquid fire. Where is she? She's your mother. She's my mother. Akasha, the queen of all who are dead. And he's her king. Akasha and Enkel nearly drank this earth dry when they ruled over Egypt. They drank until Enkel lost his will to drink. Without a mate beside her, she also lost hers.
I think everyone has a bit of a fascination with the dark side. And it's fun to go to the movies and escape and really get deep into the whole fantastical characters.
Despite her low screen time, Aaliyah commanded her role as Vampire Queen Akasha.
I love the film, and the main reason why I love the film is it's because it's about the mother and not just the father like a lot of other films. I do love the film, but the only thing I don't like is that this queen has been made just a little bit darker than I think she should be.
This is but a taste of what we shall share, my love. My king, behold our kingdom.
Kingdom of corpses. Why?
Why not?
Like in real life, I want to destroy Christianity, I want to punish the people for worshipping such a demon god, I want to punish people for not thinking about God the Mother, and of course for being so sexist in the past towards women, not allowing them to own their own house, or get a decent job, or be anything other than a prostitute or a servant, or a wife to someone twice her age, and someone who she probably doesn't even like. I hate the people, but at the same time, I understand that them hating women has only just punished all people, because all people get to be women in some of their lives. So by hurting me, they're actually just hurting themselves. So I do feel like Akasha, but I don't want to murder loads of people. So I don't agree with that part, but I do agree with what she goes on to say next.
This is why you were risen.
They believe in nothing. Now they are possessed. You and I will change all that. We will give the world something to believe in again. Now come, my love. We have a score to settle.
And the film is about this mother figure returning back to try and find her lover, which I believe is Martin Dodd. There's also subtle hints in the film that look like she comes back as a white girl, because at the end she gets this guy to kill this white girl. She dies. But after she dies, by Lestat, the ancients turn on Akasha and they kill her.
The ancients have decided to turn on me and kill me, so that's where all these disgusting little marks come from.
That is enough, Lestat! Stop!
But I think the catch of the film should be that this Akasha figure actually has not only the powers that she uses that are visible, but ones that are unknown to the modern vampires. And this is that if a human is killed a few minutes before Akasha dies, Akasha has the power to enter her soul into that body, and then that body will turn into a vampire. I think that should be the catch of the film. And in the film, there are some really weird scenes at the end, which kind of leave you thinking maybe I'm right about what I believe could have happened.
Jesse.
Hello, David. David, this is Lestat.
Hello. I have something for you. I believe that you wanted this back.
What's it like?
Yes.
Do you want to find out?
Me?
and then right at the end you kind of see her walking off looking like she's a vampire. It leaves the ending a bit mysterious, like you don't quite know what's happened. But in my telling of the story, I would say that this Akasha figure has actually just been reincarnated inside this woman, and hence why she's a vampire at the end, because she's reborn. And this is what I believe has happened between me and Aaliyah. Aaliyah died and was reincarnated inside of me as a baby. And so this is another hidden message. Okay, it's nothing like how the original writer wrote the film, but I'm really glad that it's not, because however it is now, that's how I like it. In fact, the same could be said by a lot of the biblical stories. For many of the stories, the original version, which was done thousands of years ago, their story is just nonsense, whereas the more recent tellings provide a more accurate character description.
Do you love me? Yes. Then prove it. Kill her.
Well, she's nothing to me.
Just the same. I'd like for you to kill her. You will not touch her. You still need to challenge me, mine. Now.
No, it's all right, Aunt Maharet.
See, my children. Remember your real family. Or join hers.
No. Give me my crown.
Spoken like a true king. Come. You see how he obeys. You will, or you will all die.
If I was to redo this film and have like a part 2 sequel, I would have her coming back a bit nicer, maybe saying how she wanted to kill everyone in her past just because she was so angry at the world rejecting her. The film doesn't go into much about what happened in Akisha's past before she turned to stone. If I were to help inspire a sequel, I would put more of a storyline behind that and say that she just has this really bad view on humans and wants to be at war with them because of something that's happened in her past before she turned to stone.
The world has changed since you reigned. Then we shall change it back. Humans are animals, brute creatures. Their destruction can only make sense.
We found other ways to coexist.
Oh yes, in silence, in shadows and shame, and for what? For respect of mortals. They are nothing to us. They are merely food.
Akasha, please.
You think you can change my will? Enough of this discussion. Join me or die.
I will not. I will not.
But now that she's back and in love with someone else, this other person can convince her that people aren't as bad as what they were in the past. Hence, in my sequel, although Akasha would be the bad one at first, she would kind of turn because her partner will convince her that there is a better side of people.
This is but a taste of what we shall share, my love. My king, behold our kingdom.
Kingdom of corpses. Why?
Why not?
This is why you were risen.
And yes, okay, she'll still kill and eat people to survive, but she can make a pact only to eat evildoers, robbers and stuff. Sex traffickers, of course. I want to put the fear of God in all of those people, so yeah, have a few scenes of Akasha eating sex traffickers, that would be amazing. That would be far better than have her just say, oh, I want to kill them all. Or have a storyline something like that. Or perhaps have a storyline where she realizes that the thing she most wants is to be accepted and to not have everyone be against her, which is why she hated people in the past, because everyone was against her. But perhaps with the convincing of her partner, Lestat, her new one, she might feel like getting people's approval, hence in a way becoming their queen, might be a better thing. True, in the first movie she did just kill a bunch of vampires, but at the same time she was turned into stone for thousands of years, so I'm sure a lot of people would be a bit cranky if they just woke up after that. I think also because she has a far greater power than everyone else, people would have to respect her. And now they know another power, which is that even if you kill her, she won't actually die, her soul will just go into another body. When it comes to this character, I would say the only thing that I would say about this character is don't make her seem weak. If people want to question why she did kill a bunch of vampires when she first woke up, don't have her be like, oh, it was a mistake. Have her be like, have you ever been turned into stone for thousands of years? so don't pretend to understand how I felt. And I absolutely love the echo on her voice. Apparently the echo was done because they didn't actually get her to film the vocals in the studio or something like that, and so they got her brother's voice over the top of her more raw vocals. I don't know what they've done, but I just love how it sounds really powerful with the echo. She's definitely not a good character, but if you want a bad person murdered, you know she'll get the job done. So that's why I love her. But then again, in this life, I'm not a very good actor. I've never had training. I went to a theatre school for a year and a term, but I was only 11 to 12 at the time. So I don't even know if a sequel would work, because I don't have the same talent that Aaliyah had. And I've faced about 20 years of depression. Although having said that, I've seen the film Disaster Artist, and that gives me confidence that I can do anything, providing I have money to back me up. Because that guy was arguably one of the worst producers and worst actors, and yet he still did it, because he had money to back him up. Although I'm confident that however bad my acting is, it's a lot better than him. When it comes to acting, I would prefer to start off doing some small roles that don't involve too many lines to remember, as that's the best way to just sort of gain some sort of confidence without feeling too much pressure. I'm a big fan of action hero films, and so playing this kind of role is really what I'd love to do. And to be like Queen of the Damned, that's like goddess of hell. She can work for the good side, but she can work for the good side by killing and torturing evil people, as a punishment for things that they've done. I really like the idea of that kind of character. Plus, I have a lot of inner rage within me, and so I just love the opportunity to express this kind of rage towards people that are terrible. I just had a flash vision of how cool it would be to have this character just enter into one of the Marvel Avenger kind of movies for a bit. And if my acting's not that good, you can also have this character being able to shapeshift from both me as a white girl back to a black girl who looks like Aaliyah. That way, if I'm torturing black guys, I don't get accused of being racist, because I can just morph into a black person. And if I'm torturing white people, I can morph into a white person. I don't know, kind of like the sound of that. I think I'll be really good for that kind of role. Why? Because my look is actually kind of, young, pretty, innocent. And so it'd be really cool to just have this complete contrast of looking cute and innocent versus this strong desire to want to kill lots of people.
They believe in nothing. Now they are possessed.
Everyone has a bit of a fascination with the dark side.
I could pull that off. And to be able to have a black actor support me in some scenes, so we take it in turns, playing the same character. That also sounds good, because it's less pressure on me.
Oh, it's a lot of work. It really is. Now that I have, dual career.
Also, I absolutely love one of the songs that was written for this film, Why Won't You Die? This is exactly what's happened to Aaliyah. Why won't you die? She was her, and now she's me, a white woman. Finally, the last thing that happens before Aaliyah dies was that this woman bit her and she ended up turning into stone, because it said the last person who actually kills her is one who will be turned into stone. I'm not saying the storyline or idea has to appear within any of the sequels or within the Akasha character, but I believe in the film it's supposed to represent the fourth me, the one that's going to come back at the end of the age, in a few thousand years or whenever it may be. I think she'll be Chinese looking, hence why there are a lot of people on Earth who look Chinese, because we're made in the image of God, and one of our images is Chinese / Korean looking. But anyway.
Due to Aaliyah's glowing reception in Romeo Must Die, studios were constantly knocking at her doorsteps. One night, whilst legendary Whitney Houston and producer Deborah Martin Chase chatted on the phone, Whitney brought up the idea of remaking the 1976 musical drama Sparkle.
I've said this in the past that I believe that when I come back for my fourth life in the future, there's a high chance that Whitney Houston will be my mother in that life. I don't know if them working together in Sparkle can really prove that. I can't. But the line that the guy happened to choose in the documentary was very telling. I also think it's quite weird how Whitney Houston's daughter died only a few years ago at 22. And sometimes the matrix around us sometimes makes things repeat. So Whitney Houston's daughter died at 22 in this life. So perhaps in her next life, it's an indication that she's going to receive a daughter who likewise died at 22. I don't want to say that Whitney Houston's daughter's death had anything to do with God, but sometimes the Matrix does work in circles, matching people together according to their history, their background, their circumstance. So, for example, if you're really good at maths in one life, it's very likely that you'll be given parents who are also very good at maths in your next life, because the Matrix will see the similarity and put you together. Likewise, Whitney Houston loves singing, loves performing. So do I, so did Aaliyah. I think my life has been completely cursed, hence I haven't managed to go and develop on that talent. But I'm sure the Holy Spirit has picked up on my need to be a good singer and would very much likely match me with someone who is also a very good singer, and there's no better than Whitney Houston. So yeah, I would be very happy to have her as a mum in my next life. I understand that there's other singers that are better than me, but hey, if I'm Christ, surely I should get the first pick, right?
Whitney was vocal about hopefully snagging Aaliyah for the role, as she was already a big fan.
Missy, I loved her work that she did with Aaliyah. I happen to be an Aaliyah fan. I love her voice, and I thought the songs she was singing were just perfect. I thought they were just great for the new breed of music that came in and took over.
I know, however, though, there's a lot of parents that aren't very similar to their children. I'm in this situation. I'm nothing like my parents. But at the same time, I think partly this reason could be that all the souls on earth right now are fairly young and they haven't fully developed their passions in a specific interest, but they are doing so in this life because of film and TV and the knowledge we have to try and work out what it is that we like, what kind of person we want to be, etc., etc.
You know?
Luckily, Warner Brothers, who was grooming Aaliyah to be the next Angelina Jolie at the time, owned the rights to Sparkle, and the studio decided to develop the film for her. Soon enough, Whitney, Deborah, Aaliyah, and Diane were all on the phone, excited and discussing the film. Despite the film being developed for her, Aaliyah still recorded a demo for the film. That demo turned out to be one of the most breathtaking covers of Donny Hathaway's Giving Up, which showed off Aaliyah's vocal growth and maturity in her tone.
I was never aware that these people had ever met. I didn't know that they had done anything together, but it makes me feel good seeing this just now, because I feel like it confirms my belief that perhaps they will be together in a next life, because they seem to get on in the current life that they just had. And I believe this is an example of how reincarnation works. You don't usually just get put with a stranger unless, of course, you didn't have any friends in your previous life. I believe I was Eve in my first life and I didn't have any friends, hence why I think that's just one of the reasons why I have shitty parents that I have nothing in common with, because I didn't have any friends back then. Hence the computer couldn't pair me up with any friends because I didn't have any. I think in Aaliyah's life, God in spirit, so not the computer but the programmer. The programmer is like God. I believe the programmer edited things, allowing me to meet people, make friends, so that my next life can be much better. And she did that so that I can become famous and have evidence, so that I can use the stuff that Aaliyah does to prove that me and her are the same person. But yeah, I don't think most people get that slight editing in their life. Only you should be the one who controls your future. But considering God in spirit is Aaliyah, God in spirit can easily make adjustments to her life and mine. Although when it comes to mine, I think I'm living this horrible curse. Hence, I think there's a lot of limitations that she just can't do. Otherwise, I would have done it. Believes me. You know, back then when I was Eve, I didn't even speak any kind of language, hence I couldn't have had any communication with anyone, other than a tribe of people that I probably ran away from at a very young age. I think part of my shitty life is bad karma from that. When it comes to reincarnation, I do believe that often if you have a close friend in this life, you're more likely to be paired up with them, either with a friend, auntie, uncle, people you've worked with. If you have close associations with certain people, you're more likely to be reborn into their family the next time round. I do also believe, though, that God in spirit has left clues within the songs, and Whitney Houston singing I Will Always Love You and I'm Every Woman, It's All in Me. That song, I believe she's going to be the mother that's going to have the next me. Her surname is also Houston. Aaliyah's surname is Haughton. They sound a little bit similar. I do believe that God in spirit is planting things like this so that I can pick up on it and pass these messages on to the world.